Welcome to the kingdom. I'm Chris, and this is Good Enough Gaming. Howdy folks, and a happy Halloween. We might be a little bit before Halloween, a little bit after Halloween, I don't know. I'm posting this Sunday closest to Halloween. Forward or backward. Josh has returned.
Hello.
And he has actually supplied all of the minis for today's festivities.
Yay.
Because it's Halloween, we are going to play Don't Look Back. In fact, the last time we played this game was, I think, last Halloween.
Yeah, it's been a year. It's
been a while, which means any of you who are big fans or know a lot about the game, we are going to get so much wrong. It's not even going to be close. So
that's what comment sections are for.
I mean, it's a ton of fun, but there's a lot of exceptions and special this and don't forget that. So if we get stuck, I'll give it 2 minutes, and if I can't find what I'm looking for in the book, we're just going to house rule it.
House rule it. There you go.
Let's take a look at what's happening. Because we don't have armies. We'll take a look at who's involved here. Yeah. We'll take a look at the mission, and we'll get started. So the scenario here is that a group of friends, shall we say, have decided to visit the old wishing well. There's an urban myth that if you toss a coin in at midnight and make a wish, that your dream will come true. But in our case, our heroes approached the well, and they tossed in a coin and waited to hear the splash. Instead, they heard nothing for a moment, and then the coin came flying back at them, and down in the well they see a bright red glowing pair of eyes. They have disrupted some kind of creature, spirit, monster in the well who is now climbing out of the well and chasing after them. So the objective, our heroes have to they have to conduct a ritual to banish the creature back to the well. So all the characters are going to start in base contact with the well there. Our objective, we have 12 turns to capture the 3 ritual elements, which are of course scattered throughout the map. So one is hiding here in the sewer grating. Another one is in this old crate by the swamp.
What's in the box?
And then the third one, there's just a coffin in the middle of the forest. I don't know how they didn't notice it, but, you know, it's there.
It's just hanging out.
It's just chilling. But they have to collect all 3 pieces of the ritual and then return and throw them all in the well, and it will banish the creature.
Oh, man, so we gotta like go collect and then come back and throw.
So we have to spread out and then reconcentrate. And, of course, the whole time the killer is going to be bouncing around in the forest and in the trees. So we'll see what happens. And because because it's Halloween, of course, we're not going to use the standard models that come with Don't Look Back. If you want to see those, go ahead and watch the previous video. Josh has brought his Dracula theme models. Yes. So we're going to use those. So let's go take a look at them. We'll see which characters are taking part in the mission, and then we'll get deployed and we'll get going. So our monster, our killer, our bad guy, our antagonist is none other than Dracula himself from the, what year was that movie?
1992. Yeah, these are all the minis. I actually bought the original 25mm lead, heavy as crap miniatures from the 1992 Francis Ford Coppola movie from Dracula, because that's my favorite Dracula.
All right, so here we have, is Gary Oldman? Wasn't it
Gary Oldman, yes.
Gary Oldman Dracula here. Yes. This is, of course, when he's still in his castle before he leaves at the beginning. But for those of you who are familiar with the game, he is running as a disjointed killer. So he's almost ethereal. He can scramble up walls. He can jump. He can fly. Like, he can move incredibly fast. Yeah. And rather than being like a slasher type monster, as some of the other monster cards in the game have, he is a mix of both causing damage and causing terror. So it's equal parts. He might kill you. He might also just literally scare you to death. So he's going to be what emerged out of the well and what is chasing after all of our heroes. Okay, now we've got our 4 heroes. Now, according to the game rules, we are using the character stats for Denise, the park ranger, Alice, and Max. But I'll let Josh walk us through who they actually are. What do we got here?
So, yeah, we have the Mina Harker playing as the cheerleader character. That just makes sense, because then you can put her with Max, the Sporto character, and her husband, Jonathan Harker. And I think we said, didn't we say Sandy the Ranger is going to be Van Helsing over here?
Yeah, because the Ranger character, it's a protector. It's like someone who actively fights against the monster.
Exactly.
So,
like more of a
Van Helsing, that
fighter.
makes sense.
Yep. And then we have Lucy in this form as the Denise, right? The what is it? She's like a agent type.
What, diva kind of.
Diva, yeah, that's right. She's the diva.
She has Daddy's cell phone.
She does have Daddy's cell phone.
I guess in this version of the game, she can shriek really loud.
That makes that actually makes a lot of sense. I think they're very accurate descriptions of the characters.
Right. So these are our 4 heroes who are going to have to scatter throughout the forest, collect the pieces of the ritual, and return to banish Dracula to that well, or die trying. Okay, had some camera trouble there, folks. First turn, Van Helsing moved up, and fortunately nothing happened with the jump scare when he moved to that copse of trees. Unfortunately,
but I had fun.
Over here, though, it was a slightly different story. So Keanu moved up. Was it Keanu who moved up first?
Keanu moved up first.
And what did he do?
So he got within the distance. We said that we were gonna treat all of this as like what was it, fear, or like rustling.
Oh yeah, area terrain.
Yeah. So he had to
roll badly.
Yes, I rolled very badly for what was it called, fright. I had to roll for the fright, and then basically my roll, all the fright tokens just came
all
right
4
on
fright
top
tokens, which were supposed to be in the center of the board, all shuffled towards him.
And then she came up and decided that she was going to try to help out by getting rid of a fright token, and instead barely did enough to just not have anything happen. I think we rolled a 9, and I was able to adjust it down to an 8. So Drac doesn't show up, but we also didn't get rid of a fright token.
But we didn't get rid of a fright token, so we're not off to a very good start.
But we now have 4 fright. My team has 4 fright tokens to deal with over here. So
now that does leave. We still have one more
Lucy.
heroine.
Good old
who
Lucy.
Can maybe do something.
Yep.
So she is probably going to scoot up next to Van Helsing. I think what I'm going to, my plan here, since this is a team game, I'm not spilling any beans.
Yeah.
She, I think, is going to move up with Helsing. The 2 of them are going to together go for the objective in the sewer grating, and then one of them is going to break off and make a mad dash for the crate. Whereas you, I don't know if you're going to make it out of there.
Yeah, I'll be excited if I can at least make it to the coffin. It'll be an interesting turn.
All right. Okay, Lucy moved up to join Van Helsing, but unfortunately she came within range of that copse of trees. 3. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think that's not bad. So that's, again, flip light tokens. We don't have any light tokens. This whole game has taken place in the dark.
They didn't have flashlights then.
No.
Well, they did.
Her torch went out, but she didn't have one, so joke's on the torch.
There you go.
All right. Moving on. That is the end of turn 1. Everybody's gone. So we start back over, and unfortunately, Jonathan Harker,
Mina.
He's going to get a little scared. Let's just put it that way.
Pretty much.
So, starting at the beginning of turn 2. So, one at a time.
One at a time.
You roll for the tokens around Keanu.
All right.
So, pick one in your brain.
Sure. I'm gonna pick the one in the.
Let's do a little bit of terraforming, just so the folks can enjoy.
Forget your trees. There you go. I'm gonna go with this one right here.
You start furthest away.
Oh, well, that's furthest away from him, I think. No, that one would be. That one would.
Well, now that you moved it.
Now that we did it. Sorry. That one. Yeah, that one would be furthest away. I would say.
All right. Straight up roll. What happens?
All right. What do I want here? What do I?
Low always again? Low.
Okay. Always low. 2.
2. Remove the token.
There we go. Okay. So we're making progress.
Okay.
And 9.
That's him.
That's Dracula! Yay!
That's Dracula.
Cute Dracula.
So Dracula emerges out of a tree. He was,
you know how he do.
he was climbing a tree. See, what happens is he went launching out of the well, and he was going to make this gigantic, like, splash land superhero pose, and he got stuck in a tree. But he's out now, and his very appearance...
He's out of the tree.
He's out of the tree. But his very appearance has caused terror. So both Jonathan and Mina have a point of terror. If they get too much, they will. It's the equivalent of taking all your wounds. So you can be, quote unquote, scared to death.
Oh, there you go.
And unfortunately, he also is going to move up.
Yeah.
And he's going to attack.
Blah.
All right. Go ahead and roll. I'll let you do it since it's your character.
Which D10?
So D20.
D20 this time. Okay, D20.
Yeah,
and then?
You want, well, in this case, you want higher than 14.
I want higher than 14. Gotcha.
Very high. 13.
13.
That
so
is,
close yet so far.
That's not higher. Nope. So unfortunately, what that means is that Jonathan will take 1 wound and 1 additional terror. And now, when Jonathan activates, he's got Dracula in front of him.
Yep.
He's got 2 terror tokens next to him. And his first action pretty much has to be to try and disengage.
He's fine. Everything's fine.
I don't have a lot of faith. I'm a little concerned, to be honest. While Jonathan is sorting out his business, I don't know how else to put it. He can be dead in a turn or two.
I think that's what they do in the stateroom with cigars and brandy. They just sort out their business.
Well, that's what Dracula's going to be doing soon after he kills him. So, Van Helsing has continued to run up, unfortunately not quite close enough to get a hold of the objective this turn. But he did, again, walk close to a copse of trees. There is a chance that Dracula can actually pop out.
Oh, he can move?
I believe so. It's a jump scare.
Yeah, that's true.
He lunges out, he attacks you, disappears into the shadows, comes back somewhere else.
Oh, wow.
Let's see what happens.
I could be okay.
A 7. On the jump scare, a 7 is the character gains terror. So something in that tree rustled, stared at me, made a weird squawking noise.
3-legged squirrel. I was like...
Yeah, he hit me with his nuts.
Ew!
And then, what was her? Lucy. Lucy, as just like last turn, she is going to follow up closely in Van Helsing's footsteps. I mean, when you're with the vampire hunter, you stay close.
There you go.
And unfortunately, what happens to her jump scare? Uh-oh.
Oh, would you roll?
Oh. Crazy. A 9 is laugh it off, remove terror. Unfortunately, she doesn't have any.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah, apparently something, rustles in the trees. I guess it's like that, the scene where they hear something and then a cat jumps out and, the tension makes them laugh a bit. They're like, oh, that could have been terrible.
Silly kitty.
All right, so that's these two. Let's head on over to Mr. Hawker and see what happens.
This is where the real fun starts.
Okay, so after like 6 hours of deliberation and rules looking up, that's a correct English.
Rules looking up. Rules looking up.
Anyways, so we figured out what we're going to do, Josh. What are we going to do?
So I'm going to activate Mina first. She's going to try to heal Jonathan to give him a fighting chance.
It just happens.
It just happens.
Yep.
Oh, it just happens.
She's within 2 inches.
Okay.
She automatically removes 2 wounds. So
nice.
He's back at full health. Unfortunately, he's still bleeding.
Yep. Now, does she? That was a quick action, right? So can she still? She can also move.
She can move. Yes.
Okay. But doesn't she get a? She gets a terror token.
She gets 2 of them.
Oh, that's right, because she's gonna.
Because she's activating near 2 fright tokens, and she gets another one because she's activating within line of sight of this particular monster.
I'll grab another one in a second. So I'm up to 4. Those of you that are trying to count along at home. So
the other thing you.
But then I get to move. Right?
You could move, or you could use your long action to remove some of that terror from you.
Okay, so yeah, let's do that then instead. I won't move. I'll just take away. You said it's 2?
So what's going to happen is these 2 are going to sit and slowly get killed and heal themselves back and forth while my guys do all the heavy lifting.
Pretty much. Kind of like the movie.
What did I bring you here for?
It fits the narrative.
What did I bring you here for?
Hey, I'm distracting Dracula over here. He's hanging out with me the whole time.
Okay, so that's Mina.
Yes.
What's Johnny Boy going to do?
That removes 2 for fear tokens, right?
Yes.
Okay, now what he's going to do is he's going to try to move away. Instead of fend off, he's going to try to move away from Dracula.
Stumble away?
Yes, we'll see.
Okay, so stumble away.
Yeah.
2 inches away.
Okay.
So moving 2 inches away.
From Drac?
Yep, and then after the move, take an awareness test.
2 moves. Does it matter
Any
what
direction? Nope.
Okay, so 2 aware. And then an awareness test, you say? And my awareness is 10.
Not very aware.
No, but I do have.
You were going to give. You used her free encourage,
yes,
so your awareness is now 13.
Ah, there we go.
And you make it. So you don't trip.
Nice.
Good for you.
Huzzah! Can I still move further, or is that all my actions?
That's your quick action.
That's my quick action.
You now can take a second action.
His movement is going to be 4 more inches that way. 4. That's enough for Mina, apparently. He gives her a free move action directly towards him, so she gets to move.
But she won't take any terror
inches.
or anything. It's a free action.
I got
she
you.
just
Okay.
moves.
So she's going to move to there. So they kind of like bumbled back and then moved away.
Yep. Okay.
Hey, and we're away from the free token. That wasn't too bad.
So at the end of the second turn,
I'm bleeding. Don't I have to take a wound?
we already took care of that.
Oh,
Earlier.
gotcha.
Yeah, we did that at the start.
Oh, yeah.
So at the end of the second turn, we have Jonathan and Mina are running for their lives. I mean, they are heading towards Dracula's coffin. Maybe that's why he's so upset with
That's
them.
why. Yeah.
Whereas in the distance there, we've got Van Helsing and Lucy are still trying to gather the 2 pieces of the ritual. We move on to turn 3. So far, things aren't looking good for Jonathan.
I got to take some deep breaths, otherwise I'm dead.
Yep, you got to calm yourself down.
Calm
yourself.
Calm yourself.
All right, turn 3. All right, so the fright phase was relatively uneventful. One of the fright tokens turned out to just be, an owl hooting in the trees. But we now move on to the killer phase, and unfortunately, Dracula moves towards the character that has the most terror, which is going to be Jonathan, and he gets plus 1 inch of movement for every point of terror, which is enough to cover that distance, even if he doesn't roll the dice.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Dracula really. He's got a thing for, oh, Johnny boy. And he's going to attack.
So I want a very high number.
Very high, yep.
All right.
That's not
high.
very high.
That's not very high at all. That's the opposite.
Okay, at least you didn't score crit.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So Jonathan's going to take...
Because he's enraged, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, his raged attack there didn't crit, so it's gone now.
Nice.
That does mean Jonathan takes another wound and another fear. He needs to calm himself down.
6, 7, yeah.
His heart is going to burst if he gets much more scared.
Boom!
Okay, that's the killer's turn. So, double checking the rules to make sure I didn't miss anything, and of course I missed something, and that's not in our favor. So he does the monster does both attacks. So he charged in and clawed at Jonathan, causing damage and terror. But then his second attack is apparently just seeing him move is so unnerving and terrifying that as Dracula started backing away, Jonathan gains another point of terror. One more.
He moonwalks, and John's like, I've never seen that.
Yeah. So if he has one more, he's in danger of succumbing to fear. Mm-hmm. But now it is the character's turn, and they do have a bit of space between them, Dracula and the fright token. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they can do something. So
well, he's gonna have to take at least 1 deep breath.
Yeah, 1? Okay, so we'll get to the characters and we'll come back. Over here, Lucy patted Van Helsing on the hat and said, "You go check out the sewer grate there, dear. I'm going to head off into the forest all alone." But she didn't encourage action, so I don't know, maybe she smiled at him, pinched him on the cheek. I don't know.
Which cheek?
Ooh, dang. And Josh cranks it from PG to PG-13. But I mean, it is encouraging.
It is encouraging. Hey.
As long as she didn't goose him. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so he now moves up on his turn. The jump scare was nothing. But now he's able to investigate that sewer grating. According to the mission rules, he suffers a -2 penalty. Her encouragement's a +3 benefit. So netting out, I need to roll a 12 or less to successfully investigate the sewer. That's a point. Darn it, 17, too high. He's sitting there, he can't get the grating open. The lock is still... The lock... I think Josh just took a dump. You all right there? So, unfortunately, the first item of the ritual still remains locked underneath that grating. Boo. We'll have to see if they can get it next turn. Let's head on over to the Harkers and see. Let's see how many of them are going to be left at the end of this turn. So, Josh has decided that Till Death Do Us Part was, more of a guideline, really.
Air quotes.
So she's just booked it. But because she moved twice and has terror, there's a chance she might trip if she's running through the forest. So roll a d20.
Oh, where to go?
And you want to roll under, or you want to roll above your fear. High, very high.
14. Is that high enough?
That's high enough.
Okay.
You're trying to roll above your terror.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
she's only got one.
She's
okay.
only got one, yeah.
So she moves. Next turn, she'll be able to move up and investigate the coffin and see.
He's gonna. I mean, he has to do something. He's gonna take a deep breath. Why not?
Well, that'll be his long action.
Oh, that'd be a long.
You have to do your quick action first.
Okay.
So move.
I guess. Sure. 4 inches.
Oh, this should have been what happened in the actual movie. Jonathan's like running after, honey, wait, where are you going?
Wait.
So Josh just moved. He managed to have no big results on his jump scares. He walked past the trees here, and he took a deep breath, removing 1 of his points of terror. So now he's at, what, 6? Yeah. Okay, so at the end of turn 3, we've put some distance. There is a chance that maybe Dracula can't quite get to him. I don't know. It doesn't look good. We'll see. Moving on to turn 4. We had an amazing stroke of luck when rolling to see if the fright tokens activate. I managed to roll a 1, which was the one thing we needed to get a free turn. So these fright tokens here, they're not going to activate. Unfortunately, Dracula will still do his thing. Mm-hmm. Now, we have to measure here. He's going to get a free 6-inch movement because there's 6 fright tokens on Jonathan.
Okay.
If that is... Oh, and he'll roll at least a 1.
Yep.
So he's still going to get in.
Yep. Base to base.
Base to base. All right, why don't I roll this time? Let me roll, because you keep killing him.
Yeah, what do you need?
The D20. So here we go. So as I was afraid of, the killer adds +1 to his skill for each terror. He has a skill of 14. Jonathan has 6 terror, meaning I have to roll 20 or less on a 20-sided dice. So unless I get a natural 20, which I think is considered a flub, bad things happen. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yep. Hang on, folks. I'm going to buy a lottery ticket. I'll be right back. So now that it's over to the players, Mina is going to try and check out the coffin. All modifiers add, subtracted, multiplied, and divided. She needs a 13 or less. What do we got, good sir?
14!
Josh.
Yeah. There it is.
Okay, so what happens is she saw it and she's like, yeah, that's a coffin, all right.
That's definitely a coffin.
I'm going to stay right here. Well, let's get Jonathan taken care of, and we'll move on over and see if Van Helsing can get that grate open. All right, so Jonathan has run up to the coffin, but because at one point in his move he passed by those trees, it's kind of a double whammy. If you end your move next to it, that means next turn you start your move, you have to do the jump scare again.
Yep.
All right, roll them.
All right, D10.
D10.
And what do I want? What's going to make me happy here?
A good roll.
A good roll. High roll?
I'm not remembering everything. 3. Flip all lights.
Nice.
Boy, you and I keep getting the one that just, it's a big nothing burger.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that. So he now can do, so you're going to take a breath?
Yeah, take a breath.
All right, so Harker, rather than open the coffin, he's going to take a Keanu breath.
And can he consolidate her up to where he is?
Yes.
Okay.
It's free action.
So he's going to consolidate her to here just so that line of sight thing is not messing with him
That's
at
true.
all.
They're both facing away from Dracula.
Yeah,
if you can't see him, he's not there. 3-year-old logic.
But it's how people around here do merging on the interstate.
True.
If you can't see
That's
it,
right. If you can't see them, they're not there.
Yep.
All right, moving on over to Lucy and Van Helsing. Okay, Lucy has been very productive this turn. She started off by giving words of encouragement to Van Helsing. You go, honey, you can lift that heavy grate. And then she moved 4 inches. She's not near anything, so no jump scares.
Yep.
And I'm using her, she has a twice per game ability. Now, officially she gets out a cell phone, but we're going to, I don't know, suspend disbelief here.
She gets out a...
She does that whole thing where you put 2 fingers in your mouth and whistle really loud.
There you go.
She does one of those.
I bet Lucy can do that.
But when she whistles, what's his name?
Sir Arthur Homewood, Esquire.
Sir Arthur Homewood, Esquire, has emerged somehow. He managed to not only hear her, but be nearby.
Oh, yes.
And so he has now gone traipsing through the woods. My darling, where are you?
Where are you?
And that will be huge, because as long as this guy's on the board, Dracula primarily will target him.
He's the suitor that she wanted to marry, so I'm sure he is the huge one in the equation.
Okay, then. Anyways, what this means is that the Harkers are going to get a couple turns of respite, because Dracula is now going to turn his attention to this gentleman.
Yep.
Alrighty, Van. Van the man. with no tan.
Being the man with no tan.
So he's got 3-point benefit from Lucy's encouragement. He's going to use his first action to concentrate, giving another +3. There's a -2 penalty for the mission, so he is rolling a grand total of 16 or under.
16
on
or
a
under.
D20.
Cool.
Come on now.
Let's see it.
Number 5. So they managed to capture whatever piece of the ritual was inside there. We're going to say, I don't know, what is it? Beanie Baby?
You want to go, we can intermix Dracula with Castlevania here. That's
his rib.
His rib.
It's got its rib.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. So that's all of his activations, the concentrate and the activation, the searching. That was that. So at the end of turn 4, we've made a little bit of progress. We've got one of the pieces of the ritual. We're close to a second piece, and we now have a decoy to keep Dracula busy. We might just pull this off, folks. Picking up that Dracula's rib is starting to mess with Van Helsing's mind. As he turned around to walk away from the pond, he felt a tap on his shoulder, but spun around and there's nothing there. So now he's picked up a little bit extra terror, so he's going running after Lucy, so he's not all by his lonesome. Lucy, on the other hand, she managed to keep moving towards the next objective. She's skirted around this forest here so that she doesn't potentially have a jump scare there too. So on to the Harkers. We have a little bit of a reprieve because Dracula's busy going after, what was his name again? Bob? Steve? Eustace?
Arthur Homewood.
Arthur Homewood. I should remember Arthur. So we had a good long think, and the best usage of our time, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
We were going to have Jonathan first encourage his wife.
Right, encourage her.
Then for his long
get
action.
it, honey.
Yes, you go. Well, that's not Keanu Reeves wouldn't say it like that.
Do whatever.
No way.
No way.
Anyways, so he encourages her, giving her a bonus to her investigation, and then he's going to take himself a deep breath. So then on to Mina. She was going to concentrate, giving her, like Van Helsing, an additional bonus. So she's working with a +6.
+6.
-2. So a total of +4 to her awareness.
Which is +4. So 16.
So 16?
Yeah, 16.
All right, do it.
Let's do it.
That's a 6. We're good.
Yes.
So they crack open the, it's got to be his heart in there.
It's his heart.
That's his heart.
Yeah, there you go.
So Dracula's heart, we've got the rib, we've got the heart. All right, start of turn 6. We're halfway through the fright tokens. This one here didn't activate. Instead, Dracula got enraged. The other fright token turned out to be nothing, so it is gone.
Nice.
For the killer phase, Dracula rolled very poorly for his movement, so he is still not quite at Arthur, but NPC characters like Arthur, once he gets his 3rd wound or terror, he's gone. So Arthur's going to be dead probably this turn or next. But still, that's given everybody else some time. So let's move on and see if Lucy and Van Helsing and the Harkers can get those last few, get the last objective here, and start heading back to the well. The only problem is they're literally having to head back towards Dracula. So this is going to get interesting.
Yeah.
So on to the player's turn. Van Helsing managed to move up a little bit, and then Lucy stepped into the ruins. She got a little scared because she started seeing shadows and hearing sounds, but she is now within distance next turn to try and capture the last objective. Over here, Mina starts taking a leisurely stroll back to the fountain, but she got too close to the trees and somehow Dracula lunged out of the trees. He rolled the worst possible roll on his jump scare. So Dracula is now back over here. And oddly enough, this is where the game kind of gets a little weird. He appears next to her, and the rules say he uses his 2nd attack on his profile. His 2nd attack is to back up and cause tear. Basically, he steps away and goes booga, booga, booga. And she goes, ah! So she picked up some terror. Lucy picked up some terror. Now Jonathan has a decision. Is he going to go to the right of the forest and run into Dracula, or is he going to take the long route to go left to avoid Dracula? But fortunately, the one thing I forgot to mention, is before Mina started walking back, she bandaged his wound, so he is no longer bleeding. Yeah. Move and breathe.
Move and breathe, yeah. But if he goes that way, he's in line of sight. So
you're
going
go
that
around?
way, might as well, yeah.
All right, so Harker is going to move away from Dracula to avoid taking additional fear.
4 inches into the bush.
He is roll jump scare for him.
Nice.
That's lunge.
Yes, it is.
So now Dracula
over there.
is going to be over there.
Yep. Blah! And then 3 inches back.
3 inches back, which counts as a move. Yep. So he gets fear. Did you give fear to Mina for when he did it to her?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So this guy Dracula, man, he can blink. He's like Nightcrawler. He's just goofing all over. Okay, so very cinematic though. His attempt to try and escape and go around the trees, and instead he runs right into Dracula. Yep. All right, we're moving on to turn 7. We're in the back half of the game. Most of the objectives have been achieved. Can we get the last one and get back to the well before Dracula starts bringing people down? All right, so at the start of the next turn, the fright phase, this sound, this shape, this motion in the bushes has moved a bit closer towards Lucy. And then as far as Dracula, this is where the rules work in our favor, although they're a little bit non-fluffy. According to the rules, the killer will always move towards supporting characters. So that's Arthur on the far left of the board. So he's literally staring at Harker, who's 1 point away from death, and he's like, you know what, it's fine.
I think I want to imagine that Arthur's over there like yelling slurs and just saying different hurtful things. And he's
mother
just
was
like,
a hamster.
Your
father smelled of elderberries. So Josh unfortunately only rolled a lousy 5.
A 10 would have been nice.
It would have been very nice. But at least that does clear part of the way for Jonathan to get through.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, so on to the players. Over here, Van Helsing shouted encouragement to Lucy, and then he started booking it to get back to the well. He's like, you got this, girl! And then he runs away. Whereas she now is going to concentrate. Slapped her butt and said, you got this. These two just need a room. Anyways, so with her concentration benefit, his encouragement on a... Ugh, she's not very aware.
Well,
12 or less. 15? She didn't get it. So now Van Helsing's going to have to turn around.
She saw like one little cute shiny thing on the box. It's like, ooh, look.
Yeah. So either she could sit there for the rest of the next turns trying to open the stupid crate, or Van Helsing's got to go do it for her.
Yeah.
Total mansplaining. Where's a crowbar when you need one? All right, let's see what the Harkers do. The Harkers did pretty well this round. Seeing Dracula run away when he had Jonathan dead to rights, Jonathan literally laughed. We rolled on the table for moving near the trees, and he said he just starts laughing. So he removed one of his terror tokens. He manages to move around through the trees without tripping. Mina manages to cross that whole distance. She is now almost close enough to throw the relic back in the well.
But he's the one holding.
He got it?
Oh, no, you're right. She got it. She got it. Yeah, she's holding.
So things are looking okay. But we still got we only have 5 turns left.
Yeah.
And the last objective hasn't been secured yet. So that might be our problem here.
If she starts making a run for it, we'll see. Dracula's going to be right there.
Because, Van Helsing doesn't have the time to go back and help her. He's holding one of the...
He's got to run.
He's got to run.
He's got to run, too. It's a sprint.
So the problem here isn't do we have the lives. The problem is do we have the time.
Yeah.
Moving on. So, as a summary of the end of the turn here, Van Helsing, he's got to get Dracula's rib to the well, so he's just booking it. He gets through those forests. The jump scare, actually, it was a laugh it off as well. As he's heading towards the well with his piece of the relic, he's laughing because he thinks we've got this. However, Lucy keeps kicking, hitting, yelling at, crying over. The crate won't open. I even burnt my luck point to re-roll the test.
Yeah.
And failed. So the last, we have 3 turns left for her to open that crate and get back. It's going to be close. Jonathan, his plan was to help because his bonus action is he can pull, is it a female character only?
Female characters only. Any
female character towards him, so he can stand in the middle and help her move faster to get back. So that would have helped, except he tripped. So he's going to have to use one of his actions next turn to stand up.
Yep.
So things are kind of risky. And then Dracula continues his attack. As it says, he has to move towards the supporting character. But I don't know, guys. 3 turns to do a lot of stuff. We'll see what happens.
We played a 10 or 12?
12. Oh, so 5 turns. 5 turns.
5 turns. Yeah, we got 5 turns.
So Mina, however, she makes it to the well. She tosses in her piece.
Pardon?
Or at least partly. But she has to stay there. Okay, moving on.
Yep.
All right, folks. 2 attempts to open the crate. Unfortunately, her awareness, she's not very aware,
Nope.
it seems.
Never was.
So here we go. I think it's a 10 or less. Here we go. 17. She just keeps kicking that darn crate. What do you say about Lucy? Jonathan stood up, and then he heard a sound. And he moved towards the swamp, so he is now within range, so that if she ever gets that stupid crate open, he can start using his ability to kind of slingshot
I'm trying
her.
to help you.
Van Helsing started moving back through the woods, but once he saw he was super close to Dracula, he stopped and took a deep breath so that he regained a point of terror.
Can't go for that final sprint.
We have Mina, who's moving around to the other side of the well just so she's not blocking someone else's access. And Dracula continues his slow assault towards Arthur. But he is close enough that on the next turn, he's going to give Arthur that last scare that's going to remove him.
Which is then on the last couple of turns means he's
going to be free. He's going to be free to go after the rest of us.
Go, Lucy,
Folks,
go.
there is a ray of sunshine, of hope. Not only is Jonathan in range for his movement bonus, he can now encourage her. So with his encouragement and her concentration, she now needs a 13.
I believe in you, Lucy.
It's possible. Yes.
And a 1.
Yes, it is. We didn't even need it, but we got it. The last piece, Dracula's eyeball, has been collected from... Well, what else is it going to be?
Dracula's eyeball.
Dracula's eyeball,
I like it.
his liver, his spleen, his colon,
His pinky toe on his left foot.
Whatever it is, she's got it. My baby, she's got it.
My baby.
Okay, so now we begin the long trek. All we got to do is get back.
Can she still move?
No, because she used her quick action to
Free
concentrate.
move? No, free move.
He would have had to go first to give her the encouragement. He can't do that. Balls. But, folks, it's now a race against time. We've got 4 turns. We made a mistake. It's actually turn 9, so we have 9 through 12 to get back to the well.
But we're going to lose Arthur at the start of this turn.
Maybe she'll shriek and see if another suitor shows up.
There you go. Well, go for it. Go for it.
Actually, we won't do that just yet. Okay, moving on to 10. Okay, with the last relic in hand, Jonathan moved over and beckoned her to come closer. Apparently, he's quite the ladies' man. So she got a free 4-inch move towards Jonathan, and then she used her turn to move out of the swamp. It unfortunately was difficult terrain, so she moved a bit slower. But she is going to put her fingers to her lips one more time.
What?
And whistle for another suitor. She's just throwing bodies at Dracula, like, eat this guy, kill this guy, just not me.
I mean, yeah.
So here we go. As long as I can roll a 6, that's a 5.
Wah, wah, wah.
We're dead. We're all gonna die. Game over, man.
Game over.
So close. We've got a couple turns, but I'm not sure if they can make it.
Don't blame me. I gave you a free 4 inches.
And then over here, Van Helsing made it to the well. All we need is for Lucy to cover that distance, whereas Dracula, he is within just like striking distance. It's getting close, folks. Dracula moved forward and attacked Jonathan, causing a point of damage and a point of fear. Jonathan stumbles away, rapidly crawling through the undergrowth and the roots, manages to use his free ability to give Lucy a free 4-inch movement towards him, which she then did a double move and basically slungshot herself past.
Yep.
And she didn't even trip. I mean, it's all coming together. Folks, it's Miracle on 34th Street. So Jonathan, heroic last stand, he used a luck point to remove some of his terror, and then he took a breath to remove just enough to get him below the threshold where he won't die. But he's going to stand in Dracula's way, giving Lucy time to make the last few inches to run to the well, throw in her piece of Dracula's body, and complete the ritual. We were on the last turn and managed to pull it off. So, we also noticed we forgot a bunch of things. Guys, like I said, this game's a ton of fun, but there are so many things to keep track of.
So many caveats to each thing where it's like, now on this turn you do this. And
if this is the case, it's almost like the board game equivalent of playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
There you go.
You activate this, which triggers this, which sets this off, which conditions this. Because on turn 8, we were supposed to bring in a free supporting character. We forgot. There were supposed to be fear tokens generating at the well. We forgot those. So one thing we forgot that was in our favor. One thing we forgot that was out.
I think that's a wash.
So, a lot of fun. If you guys haven't played Don't Look Back, it's definitely worth a look. Black Site Studios, I think, is the name of the company. Check them out. They have a ton of expansions. This is just the core set. They're releasing an updated edition where you can actually play the killer. One side can play the killer. But hope everybody enjoyed that. We sure did. Happy Halloween. However you enjoy that particular holiday, I enjoy playing a good game of Don't Look Back. So, see you next time. Keep your dice on the table and take it easy, folks.